Hey guys, so right now, a lot of God's children are in manifestation time. The things that God promised you, I don't know when, but the promises that He promised to you, this is the time when God is like, okay, now is time. Because in our walk with God, there is going to be a season where God will tell you about it, and then there's a season when it is going to happen. And when it's time for it to manifest, God will tell you aggressively. He will tell it to you all day long, every day, until you do it. But it's so important that you protect this promise. I know you are so excited and you just want to tell everybody, and you just want to make it known that, hey, my walk with God was not in vain, and God was actually working on me. God had this particular thing for me this whole time, and now I'm about to get it. But when you open your mouth and you verbalize what God is getting ready to do, you have now allowed the enemy to have access to that promise. And what I mean by that is the enemy is going to use people, whether they know it or not. The enemy is going to use people to discourage you. And sometimes they might say things in their mind is a concern. In their mind is logic. But you have to understand that you serve a God that does not do things in chronological order. And you serve a God that is supernatural. So half the time, what the world deems as crazy or what doesn't make sense to the world, it makes plenty of sense to God. So you have to think about the story of when Jesus told his disciples what are to come of him, when the plans that God had for him. And Peter was like, no, I won't let that happen, and da-da-da. And Jesus looked at him and said, get thee behind me, Satan. Now, anybody listening to that story could say, oh, but Jesus is Peter's friend, and he just was concerned for his friend, and he didn't want his friend to die. But in Jesus' eyes, he saw that that was Satan using Peter to stop Jesus from doing what God has called him to do. And you're going to encounter people if you vocalize what God is telling you to do. You're going to encounter a lot of people that would discourage what God has told you to do. They're going to place a seed of doubt. They're going to place seeds of discouragement, and they're going to place seeds of confusion. Discouragement as in they'll try to tell you, oh, but you don't have this and you don't have that, and how you're going to do this and how you're going to do that. And when they speak to you, it will make you feel bad, because then you're going to be like, oh wow, like I really don't have those things, and then confusion, they're going to try to tell you what they think you should be doing, and then it's going to bring confusion to you, like, did I actually hear from God? Was this God or was this me? And when you think about the birthing process, when a woman is pregnant with her child, she doesn't announce that she's pregnant until her second trimester. And the reason why she waits that long is because for some women, they lose their child within the first trimester, I'm sorry. So because they lose their first child, they want to make sure that the child will make it through the first trimester before they vocalize it to people, because they don't want to say something prematurely and then something happens and then people are like, oh, like, are you still pregnant, and da-da-da-da. So it's very important that you protect what God is telling you in this hour. And for a lot of you guys, God is going to start giving you instructions. And it doesn't matter if it does not make sense to you, do it. It doesn't matter if it scares you, do it, because it's going to connect you to that promise. And you have to be fearless in this season. You have to step out on faith and go where God tells you to go. And fear, there's no room for fear. There's no room for fear. But this is a big moment for a lot of you guys. For me personally, I myself was going to say what was happening in my life, but then I kind of felt like, no, I need to be quiet. I need to wait until it manifests and then say it. And I feel like, I was like, okay, I need to make this type of video. Be quiet until it manifests. And then when it manifests, then you can tell people what happened and how it happened, because it's going to be a testimony. It's going to encourage a lot of people what God is going to do in your life. And I know for me personally, God told me that people are going to see what happens with me, and they're going to fall on their knees and they're going to repent. They're going to be like, oh my goodness, there is a God. And people are going to react to you guys' situation too. Because how is it a God thing if it's easy? Let's say that you want a car and you got a job, you got good credit, you have money for a down payment. So how is that a God thing? People say, oh, like God got me a car. No, you qualify for one. That's not a miracle. A miracle is, for example, I heard somebody did not have an ID and he got a car. That's a miracle. A miracle is you don't have proof of income, you don't have money, you don't have insurance, your credit is jacked up. Those situations are miracles. That is a miracle. And God he qualifies the called. He don't call the qualified, because everybody who is on the outside looking in, they're looking at the people who were qualified for it naturally, and they're saying, well, God gave me this. It's like, no, you were qualified for this, so how is this a God thing? But real miracles are when the impossible happens. And when the impossible happens, and when eyes haven't seen, ears have not heard this kind of thing, where something supernatural just happens to you and they cannot deny that God did that for you. That is a miracle. And a lot of you guys are going to be in that situation where naturally you do not qualify. Naturally, it would not have happened. For example, just last week you were single and now you're engaged. That's a miracle. That's supernatural. And especially in those situations when you know that you have a kingdom spouse and God has brought you two together, do not say anything until you're married. Do not say anything until you're married, because a lot of people are going to try to tell you, oh, you just met her a month ago and you talking about marriage, you don't know her, and all blah blah blah. First of all, they're looking at your situation through their lenses. They have encountered the wrong kind of people, and because their relationships never worked, they're projecting that onto you. Second of all, they don't understand a kingdom marriage. A kingdom marriage is, what is it called? A kingdom marriage is an arranged marriage. Basically, God arranged you two to come together to get married. And supernaturally, you guys are going to fall in love with each other. You might fall in love with the person at first sight. And a lot of people are not going to understand that. I had a friend, she was with her boyfriend for, I think, 6 years until they got engaged. And she was telling me how her sister was saying certain things to her, and it brought discouragement to her. And for one, I told her, people are just organically, they're not going to be happy for you. Because there are people who, they see people who are blessed and it upsets them. But they don't understand that when God shows you that someone else is getting blessed, that means God is in the neighborhood. So if you see that your friend just got engaged, it ain't going to be too long until you're engaged too. And a lot of people, they speak their insecurities onto you. They are afraid to settle down. So they're trying to make you not settle down. So it is so important, whatever promise it is, you have to keep it quiet. Do not say anything. You got to protect it until it manifests. You have to treat it like a baby. You have to protect your baby until it manifests. Because the enemy will use families, friends, the people that you're close with to discourage you, to confuse you, to cause hindrances and setbacks. And you have to trust what God has told you. And that's why you have to write it down. That's why you have to have it in your heart. That's why when you or if you ever get discouraged or you doubt it, you have to go back to how God confirmed it to you. And then when you go back to how God confirmed it to you, you got to stand on that. Like, no, God said this person. No, God said this car. No, God said this home. No, God said this work opportunity is for me. So if God said it, I'm not listening to no one else, because God is truth. God is the one who opened the door. So you cannot allow God's creation to speak louder than the Creator. If God told it to you, it will come to pass. It is going to come to pass. But in the meantime, you have to keep quiet. You have to move in silence. With every instructions that God is about to give you, you have to move in silence. You cannot allow people to speak louder than what God is telling you. And you wait until it manifests, and then you tell people. And if you have people in your life who will discourage you or who will have nasty things to say, because that will happen. Don't be ignorant to it. It will happen. You got to separate yourself from those people, because all of us have experienced a bad season in our life. But common sense would tell you, I'm not going to talk to you crazy because you're going through, I'm not going to say me, because, you're going through a hard season. I know that if God is blessing you, He's going to bless me too. So let me congratulate you, because it's my turn now. So a lot of people, they don't have that mindset. They see that you're getting blessed and they get upset. They get pissed. Like, why did that happen for them and not me? So you have to also protect your emotions, because people are going to try to steal your joy. They're going to try to say things to you that will upset you, that will anger you. And you have to say, no, I do deserve these things. I deserve these blessings. And no one is going to make me feel like I don't. No one on this earth is going to make me feel like I don't qualify. Because when God is in it, God will be the one to open up the door. God is going to put you in rooms that naturally you don't qualify for, but because you have favor over your life, you are going to get through that door, no matter what. And that intimidates people. It does. You don't have to work hard for the things you have. And there's people out there, they go to jobs that they hate. They hate it. They don't know what they're called to do in life. They wake up every morning pissed because they have to go to a job that they hate so that they can buy the things they want, and the things you need just come to you. Even though it's a waiting season before that, but whenever you need something, it comes to you. And that upsets a lot of people as well, because life is is low-key easy for you. But you have to protect what God is telling you. You have to protect it with everything, and do not say anything. Only talk to people that you are led to talk to. Only talk to people that you know have been through what you're going through, and they can help you. Because what people try to do is they'll try to kill your dreams. You cannot tell your dreams to people who are blind. Because when you tell a blind person your dreams, they're not going to see it the way you see it. They're going to see it through their lenses. They're going to see it through their beliefs. Especially, you cannot tell people who don't have faith. Because faith is believing in something before you see it. And a lot of people, they will believe it when they see it. And you cannot tell people, they will believe it, they'll believe it when they see it. And you cannot tell people like that, because they're going to try to kill it. And you have to understand the reason why God has never done huge blessings in those kind of people's lives is because they settled. They settle for a mediocre life. And I know for you, God made sure you did not settle. God told you the big plans that he has for your life. And you said, God, it's scary to me, but I'm going to go through the process. You did not settle. So do not talk to people who settled for any old kind of life. You have to protect your baby. Protect it well by remaining silent until it manifests. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.